What is up, everybody? How are you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, hopefully everyone can hear me. Tonight is the first time we're streaming to Rumble and YouTube at the same time. So give me thumbs up. Let's go. Yeah, everyone can hear me good? Hopefully. Well, welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. We're going to have a good show tonight. A little bit of different night tonight. We got a couple different things to look at. I think everything, though, that I look at always needs to be through the lens of why I started this channel and what's most important to me. And that is Charlie Kirk. Who took him out? Who is connected to who took him out, right? Everyone that's involved, right? And so I do think that Erika Kirk is a big focus of my channel, but I think it is because of everything that's happened since September 10th. Like I've said before, if she would have stayed home, raised her kids, which she could do, she doesn't need to go to work and support her family. Her family's well supported. TPUSA would have been just fine. If she would have not taken over so quickly and done everything that we've seen her do, the spotlight wouldn't have been on her, and it wouldn't be on her. But continually, more and more each day, it comes out. Like today, we find out that quietly over the weekend, she was appointed to the Air Force Academy Board because Charlie Kirk was supposed to do that. You know, that's just so bizarre. In no other situation would a spouse inherit all of the professional job responsibilities of their husband. She's wholly unqualified for everything. Charlie was unique, right? Like, he didn't go to college. Erika did go to college. I mean, from what we know, right? She went to lots of colleges. And in fact, her whole experience that like they're using as her qualifications, it's all college. A lot of which is can't be verified. Now, whether she's summa cum laude, like her honors and different degrees, it's switched here and there. I mean, holy smokes, you guys. But the point is this. The main thing that everyone in TPUSA and even now President Trump, that they're claiming for the justification why she became CEO, why she's been appointed now as on the board, which is only 15 members, and it's appointed by the president on this academy for the Air Force, is because she was Charlie Kirk's wife. The reason why he would have been selected for this role is unique to Charlie. His unique life experience, his own personal education, not in the traditional sense like college, but he was an autodidact. He's self-read, self-taught, could remember everything and regurgitate it. Really, his reading comprehension was through the roof. And he could explain things so well. He was well-versed in politics for the United States, but also, geopolitics, like international politics. His qualifications are unique to him. He didn't transmute all that to Erika. It's like this osmosis, but like it rubbed off on her just because she was married to him. Now she gets all of the honors, all of the duties that Charlie got. And it's insane. In no other situation, that'd be like, Bill Gates' wife or Steve Jobs' wife, if he were still alive back in the day, right? They'd die, and then the wife. Here's the thing, though. The boards of those companies would never have selected either of their wives to take over. They just wouldn't have. Why in this situation is it different? Why is Erika qualified to do anything that Charlie did? Well, she's not. She's just not. What? Because she's a Christian? Okay. I mean, that's debatable. I think that's easily debatable. Just based on everything surrounding her. I don't know. I'm not, only God can judge, and I'm not judging her. I'm just saying, like, I mean, fruit, like, we're supposed to look and be like, look at the fruit. Ugh. Why is all of this being hoisted on us? And from like 12 days after the assassination, they were like, Erika Kirk, next president. We looked at those clips yesterday from Tyler Boyer. Charlie always said she was going to be president. Charlie always said she was so much better than me in every way. Give me a break. No way. No way. All right. So even though we look at these other videos and different things, to me, they're all connected, whether it has to do with the war in Iran, politics in the United States, or specifically with the assassination and TPUSA. Because she is being exalted to the highest positions in the country and being touted as a possible presidential candidate. And it's just like, man, we're living in an upside down world. I don't know how so many people are being fooled by this. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. So the first thing, okay. The first thing I want to look at tonight is the clip. You guys, if you guys are followers of this channel and you guys have been here, you guys were here when M from X reached out to every content creator. And I was lucky because I have Mystic. Everyone give props to Mystic. We'll give props to Glenn and Renata and Jim Bear. They're amazing mods. But Mystic connected M with me in regards to the September 8th timeline. We played the clip of Charlie on the 9th, the next day, talking about the Monday Night Football game on the 8th, Chicago Bears. When I did my own verification and research on it, I can't believe it messed it up. And okay, this is what was confusing, right? So it's on the East Coast. All right. So the 3-hour time difference, and then there's Central Time, Mountain, and then you have Arizona who doesn't do daylight savings. And for whatever reason, when I was doing all of it, it came out that it was like 7:30 would have been the time in Arizona when the game would have ended. But actually, I double checked everything today and I'll pull it up. It was 8:30. So there is a conflict. And I can't believe I missed it. I was like kicking myself when I was watching it and I saw Candace playing it. I was like, no, and I emailed M after the show before the show that day and was telling her, I was like, I think there was still time for Frank and Charlie to go on the walk. And of course, I used a different AI this time and double checked everything. And I was like, nah, yeah. The game ended at 8:30 Charlie Kirk's time. So yeah, there's that. All right. Let's look at that. And then I'm going to show you guys what I have on that.
The entire Erika story feels like, as I refer to on the show, as the Midas touch. Somebody just pulling her through the ranks at all times. I don't know if she's even smart, but they're telling us that she's like the brightest in the entire world and that she's doing it all. And no one can even confirm that she did graduate summa cum laude from ASU. But by the way, she has since removed that from her bio. She is slated to speak at Hillsdale College, and the students have all messaged me about it because they don't want her there. And they similarly just feel like she's just being.
And if you guys remember, right, and we had talked about it on this show. My goodness, my computer. Come on. One of these days I'll figure out why the tabs are doing what they're doing at the top. I promise. They were really pushing Erika. Like they waited a bit. Well, okay, no. So initially she comes out that week, right? She does the famous chair in the Office speech, right? Where she says the echo like a battle cry. That one. Then she does the memorial, right? We don't see her like a whole lot, and then we see her a lot in December, right? She does all of the book release tour stuff, and then Barry Weiss sit down, and then Amfest. Then she does the first Make Heaven Crowded event, but then she goes radio silent, right? And she has all of these other speaking engagements planned that end up getting canceled, or at least she gets pulled from. Nah, she's sick. No, she's not. She's at the State of the Union the next day. Okay, she's not sick. I mean, it was my opinion, and Candace said it. I think it was last week or maybe this week, one of the days. We're only on Tuesday, so yesterday or today. That she has it on good authority that they pulled her because of the backlash she was getting publicly. Every time she did a speaking engagement, like she was just like giving all of her haters more ammunition to be like, what is going on? Like, what are we looking at? This is insane. So they pull her for a bit. Well, she's got a lot coming up. She's got Hillsdale. She's got the next Make Heaven Crowded in Dallas, which fingers crossed I can get there. And I just have a feeling there's going to be another push of quite a few speaking appearances of hers. And so I think fingers crossed we'll be seeing a lot more of Erika Kirk. I mean, it's bittersweet. It's like painful, but it's like every time we see her, we kind of get more information because there's more lies
being hoisted upon them. And you just go, the woman I'm speaking to, like that we're listening rather to her speak, is not a super genius. You didn't have to guess whether Charlie Kirk was a genius. You know what I mean? But they're just like, she is. She's so qualified, hyper qualified. We can't show you where on the resume where she's qualified, or how you go from like modeling agencies and dating reality shows and pageantry to where she is now, the Department of Defense. No one can explain that. And they don't even care to. It's giving Jeffrey Epstein when he just like becomes a math teacher and someone's pulling him from the ranks, and that someone is Bill Barr, right? Who gives him that job because he's running that school.
And it's not just Jeffrey Epstein, right? We see the same thing with Emmanuel Macron, right? How he got his appointment to the top of the Rothschild bank that he worked at and didn't even know whatever that acronym is for international banking, which like you would have to know if you make it that high in the banking industry. And he's not the only one. Like even Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, even Steve Jobs, a lot of these individuals that seemingly like came out of nowhere and then just created all these things, or just being handed all of this opportunity out of nowhere. You come to find out, well, it's not really organic, natural, out of nowhere. They know people, their family, there's connections. And so the same thing we're finding out with Erika Kirk. Okay. Yep. And we're allowed to question.
Something's just really weird about everything. And I also wanted to tell you, this is kind of happening on X right now. Turning Point tried to remove it from the podcast. They did actually remove it from the podcast, but not before the internet grabbed it. It's this clip of Blake Neff. He's one of my favorite characters because he always just says too much and it's never good. And Blake Neff is explained on Charlie Kirk's show earlier today that Erika says that Charlie, if he had a choice, he would stay dead.
And what's weird is, I don't know where, I didn't have enough time to find it. Andrew Colvett has said this. Who else has said this? There's a couple people, I think Mikey McCoy. I've watched so much of their stuff, like sometimes it just gets lost in here. But this is not the first time somebody at TPUSA has said this. And I covered it in one of my episodes within the last week, right? That Charlie wouldn't have changed this because of the revival that happened, right? And if you guys remember, you might remember me talking about this, that, okay, yes, people came to Christ, right? In the aftermath of his death, right? The memorial. And I guess we saw Bible sales peak in the days, weeks, and months after his assassination. Church attendance went up. But I mean, okay, a couple things. Like some of those may be short lived. We don't know. Like the people stay with their faith. Hopefully they do. But more importantly, okay, the assassination, his death is a one event thing. And even though we saw like a lot of people supposedly gave their lives to Christ after that, okay, and that's amazing, right? And we pray that those new believers stay and they walk with Christ for the rest of their lives. However, if Charlie would have had, he's 30 something years old, I think he was almost 33, he would have had like 50, 60, however many years of his life ahead of him. Can you imagine the impact he would have had alive? How many more lives he could have brought to Christ alive? And so the reason that they're giving that if Charlie could make the decision to come back or not, that he would choose not to come back and be with his, probably he doesn't want to, maybe he doesn't want to come back because he doesn't want to be with Erika. We'll find out if that he did file that divorce 4 days before the 10th. He would have wanted to come back for his kids. Okay. He has a little girl. He understands how important a father's role in a little girl's life is. And it's important for a boy too. Okay. I grew up without a father. I'm pretty lucky that, I didn't turn out like a lot of other men that don't have a father in their life. And it was close there for a little bit. It looked like I could have, but Marine Corps helped me out, helped me become a man. He would want to be there for his kids. Okay. He would have wanted to be on earth preaching the gospel, right? Affecting people's lives alive. Not that he wouldn't trade this for his life. That's insane because they want you to believe that if it weren't the case, that means like he's selfish in some way, that if he did want to come back instead of, the revival that happened in his death, that somehow would have been a not godly thing. Give me a break. He would have wanted to be with his kids and raise them, watch them grow up and be successful adults and get married and have kids and be a grandfather. Not to mention, he would have been able to preach the gospel hundreds of thousands of times. The amount of people he could have led to Christ over the rest of his life that would far exceed how many people came to Christ just because of his death, which only happens once. And regardless that it had a major impact on the world and those here in the United States, me included, it would never have been equal to the amount of the size of the impact he would have had if he could have been here on earth for the rest of his life. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And it's very disgusting that Blake's not the only one. Tyler Boyer has said it, and Andrew Colvett has said it.
Take it away, Blake Neff.
Blake, any thoughts? It's Erika said that if Charlie was given the choice to undo what happened and come back, he wouldn't, she thought, because of what was unleashed by it.
Couple things. I don't know why I missed this. Erika said this. Erika is the source for almost all of the blasphemous, morbid, outright evil lies that have come out. The neck of steel. Okay. It was so she time and time again wants to use faith as a weapon. She's the grieving widow. The Bible talks about us not, attacking a grieving widow. We can't question anything she says or does because she's a grieving widow. And then she wants to say things that have this religious, spiritual component to it, which make it even harder for people or Christians to be like, I don't know about that. So Erika's the one that said this, right? just like the miracle. She's calling into question like God and people's belief in miracles. Yeah, we believe in miracles. It's like if you didn't believe the neck of steel miracle, then you don't believe in God. You don't believe he does miracles. No, we do. I don't believe that's what happened. I don't believe that's what we saw that day. Just like I don't believe that she could well, I believe she said it 100%. I believe she said it. And the fact that Tyler and Andrew, now Blake, at different times have both said this, all of them, that she believes that if Charlie had the choice, he would choose not to come back and be with his kids. You know, I mean, take that from the same person that said the least traumatizing thing of this whole thing is raising your kids without a father, being a single parent mom. You know, which, I mean, I think her kids are pretty parentless at this point. I don't know where they've been. She's running a massive company organization. She's now, on top of that, going to be on this board for the Air Force Academy, which they also talked about the different responsibilities. One of which is discipline. That's interesting. So I wonder if people with this whole war and the potential like young, enlisted and officers that are there. Well, it's the academy. Well, I don't know. I don't know about the Air Force. Maybe it's got a enlisted and an officer component there. But if they oppose the war and they oppose going to war for Philly, I wonder how she's going to feel about that. All right. I think that was the only part I had. Wait, nope, 27. Hold on. I got the next one. Where are we at? Right here.
The last walk we went on, Megan, was Monday night. So the terrible day was Wednesday. And so we spent some time Monday, and then we both went to dinner. He wanted to have dinner with the family, he's a family man. So he said, hey, can you come back at about 8? We'll go on a walk. I said, yeah, okay. So I came back down at 8, and I texted him.
And one thing I don't know, I guess we could keep playing it, but remember, Erika also claimed she made dinner for him this night. And we've been saying, at least I've been saying, and I think a lot of us have been saying that we don't think Erika was there at all for a while, right? Like we've been saying this for a while, that he was alone with the kids that night, right? And there's like these different stories about when did he eat dinner? I thought they went as a family. Nope. Erika wants you to believe like she made him dinner and said, your dinner's ready for you. And yeah, it's just crazy. Let's get to the part where he talks about the time, and then I'll pull up what I have to show you guys.
I said, okay, I'm about here. He said, coming out. And then a minute later, he said, shortly, Gigi just got up. So he was obviously taking care of the baby, taking care of his daughter, because that's the kind of person he was. And then we went on this long walk, and there were 2 major issues that kept coming up that he wanted to be better at.
So we received an email which made this even more interesting.
And I think that's M. I think M sent the email. M, are you here? Do you know, was that your email that she's talking about?
I don't even know how I missed this, but they said, Candace, Charlie on September 8th was very obviously watching the Bears football game. He's a massive Chicago Bears fan. Everybody knows that. And it was like kind of always this feature on his show of him being upset with the chronic upsets that comes apparently with being a Chicago Bears fan. And he recounted with remarkable detail, at least, and this is again, I'm happy to yield and err on the side of caution, but I think we can confidently state that Charlie definitively watched the second half of that game glued to his screen. Take a listen to Charlie discussing the Bears game on September 8th.
Blake is such a Packers fan. He said, what should we talk about? We'll talk about the Bears. I'm not talking about the Bears, okay? You see, I even put in my group chat. I said, the Bears are winning by 14 points. This is a very strange thing. I don't know how to handle it.
You want to know what Jesse...
The Bears put on a...
Jesse on Fire would have you believe that this man right here, this is the day before when he filmed this, September 9th at 1:23, that at this point, he had less than 24 hours left until he was going to supposedly fake his death and never be seen ever again. That's what Jesse would have you believe. And actually, so many other people right now would have you believe that he's going to get up here and act like this. And it says it's 1:23 p.m. Central Time on September 9th. Wow, how fitting, actually, because it's 23 hours to the minute. Less, so an hour. Yeah, 1:23. He was, the big bang went off at 12:23. So he would have had less than 24 hours from this point alive. But in Jesse's theory, they would have been planning it already. So that means it would have been in his mind. This is one of the last shows he would do ever in his life. And he would never be seen again. I just can't with these people.
Masterclass, one of the worst coach games in the history of football. It was so bad. They challenge in the second. You never do this in the second half. You should be smacked across the face. He challenged what was not even a close
because we watched it.
That they're basically ending the game.
Oh, and the other thing I point out when I watch, I don't want to leave her like that.
I think there's any question.
There we go. All right. When I'm watching Candace watch clips of Charlie, I don't see someone that hates him. I don't see someone that's jealous of him. I don't see someone that's in on his assassination or in on the fake assassination. I don't see that. I don't know. What do you guys see? I see someone, in my opinion, that's a dear friend that cared a lot about him. And I see when she looks at Frank, when I'm watching her watch videos of like Erika or Frank or Blake, I see, in my opinion, righteous anger in her eyes. I don't see an actress. I don't see fake, phony feelings. I see real compassion and like a brotherly love for Charlie when she's looking at him. And I see real anger when she looks at Erika, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Tyler Boyer. Right? You guys see the same thing? Yeah. So, all right, let's get to the rest of this.
That Charlie watched the second half of that game, and he says he was screaming at his TV. Okay. So we are now able to tighten up that schedule on September 8th. I'm going to show you guys that, what we have here going on. First and foremost, I do want to note that that article appears in the Jezebel.com regarding the witches cursed place.
And I don't know if you guys are watching from your phones or not, or if you saw this earlier, but you can screenshot this, this timeline and put it into like ChatGPT or Grok and ask it to put it into like a format for you guys so that you can have it and we can use it. I did it already because this is an important piece of investigation material.
On Charlie's life. That was at 9:49 a.m. All of this is in Arizona time, just to be clear. 9:49 a.m. that article appears in Jezebel regarding a witch's curse that was placed on Charlie. Exactly 1 hour later, to the minute, Erika breaks her years-long Twitter silence, and she tweets out a Bible verse, Ephesians, for by grace you have been saved through faith. Okay. At 10 o'clock a.m., Charlie appears from his home studio live on Charlie Kirk. That is what, that's a different episode, not the one that we just watched. At 10:45 a.m., Lori Franz Fay has an appointment at the clinic, and Charlie allegedly meets up with her, accompanies her. These appointments apparently run for an hour. So Charlie and Lori are together. From 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m., Charlie appears from his home studio on the Ingram angle. There was that notorious picture going around where Charlie looked angry, like he was looking off to the side.
And I want to look that up. So where is that? That is Charlie. Where's the Ingram angle? I'll let it keep playing because I didn't hear that part. Hold on.
Side. Well, he's got to be looking at Frank Turek.
Here it is.
I would suspect, based on this timeline, that Frank Turek was with him. That would track that he's, because it's getting tight now. The game is about to kick off. Erika's her alibi is going to be she arrived home. And so, yeah, you guys, everyone investigating this should now copy this timeline, I think Frank Turek was with Charlie. I'm not saying Charlie was angry at Frank, but I still don't believe Frank's story that they went on a walk to talk about pointers about how Charlie would debate and college. I never bought that he was just suddenly in need of so much debate help. I think there was something going on. There was some sort of crisis that required Charlie speaking to a rabbi, a pastor, and a priest within 48 hours, I think.
Yeah. Let's find out what the crisis might have been. All right. So this is Matt on Matt with Friends, and this is Matt Tuscheroni, former TPUSA employee that worked he was one step under Tyler Boyer in Turning Point Action. And let's see what he says, why he thinks that the event that we saw, oh my goodness. Hold on, you guys. It just, your browser has lost connection. Hold on. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Someone said it had to do with my the space on my computer. I'll look into that, but it says my browser lost connection. It doesn't say anything else. Let me get back to this. All right. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys very long, did I? Did I lose you guys very long? No? All right, we're good. All right, so they knew Charlie, everyone at TPUSA and those, the donors, they knew that Charlie had been like turning on his view on Philly on October 7th, on a lot of the normal things that TPUSA supposedly stood for, and why, like, you know, what is it? Bob Shillman and Bill Ackman and the major Jewish donors gave money and were letting the money continue to come as long as Charlie behaved, right? And they knew that he was changing, but I guess in like the very last few weeks, Charlie was doing like a complete 180, that he was done completely. And he was going to go completely off script and not at all bend the knee anymore. And this, you guys, it's why they had to do it on the first campus event. And so Matt's going to speculate that it was rushed. Okay. And that's why we see some of the sloppiness that we see, because everyone was in a kind of a frantic panic to get this done before he does. Because once he's on the road, he's doing all of these speaking engagements, like back to back to back to back to back. And then those clips are going to go viral. Okay. And I said this yesterday. I want to find out who at TPUSA selected Henry Dell to go first and then Hunter Kozak to go second. They didn't allow, and of course, Henry Dell went first because he was asking softball LDS Christian questions. Nothing with Philly, nothing controversial. And then, of course, Hunter Kozak gets up, starts talking about LGBTQ and trans stuff. And then the famous question about gun violence. And then, boom, the bang rang out. They didn't even allow one opportunity for Charlie to talk about Philly, to answer any Philadelphian questions or anything. They got him right away. All right, let's listen to Matt. And they were just doing an interview today. I was watching it before I came on. You guys can go over to Friends with Matt. He has a picture of like a golden retriever on his channel, like picture, thumbnail kind of thing. It's worth watching. I'm just going to play this part, okay?
Who are still following the mega cult and the Turning Point cult, they're now calling the Democrats conspiracy theorists. I mean, that's where you got.
It's coming right after this. Just give it a second.
You got to connect these patterns. It's all about pattern recognition. This is how they want us divided, but it's not working so well because their psyop on September 10th, when they took out my boss, is not working because it was the sloppiest thing I've ever seen. Okay. It was the sloppiest, not well put together, sloppiest psyop in American and world history, everybody. They had to put it together. real quick overnight, and this is something that I talk to Mitch Snow about on a daily basis, is the reason why it's sloppy was Charlie went off script. They knew he was going to go off script, but he did it real quick, and they didn't expect that. And they had to put it all together overnight. Even though their plan was to eventually take him out, he pulled the trigger fast. And that's what happened to Charlie Kirk.
And to be clear, because this is what I'm assuming you're talking about, he changed his opinion about Israel overnight, right?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
All roads lead to the Edomites that are occupying Israel.
Yeah. So wait, let's backtrack. We're going to go through all of this. We're going to get to the Charlie Kirk assassination, but I want to hear your whole story. So,
all right. That was the part I wanted to play about that. If you guys want to watch, have you guys seen this or not? Have you guys seen, were any of you guys watching this interview yet? No. All right. I'm going to keep going. Let me get to the part where she talks about and then let me show you guys the actual timeline that I have that shows. Why is this doing this? Holy smokes, man. What is going on? I'm just going to keep rolling with it, you guys. Hopefully, don't go anywhere. All right, I'll go quickly. I don't know what the heck is going on tonight. I'm not even going from X or anything like that. This was just my email. For goodness gracious sake. All right. Everyone say a prayer for not losing any more service tonight. All right. So the Chicago Bears game ended at 10:30 Central. No, it wouldn't have been 10:30 Central. Oh, yeah. Okay. Which would have been 8:30 p.m. in Arizona. Yes, correct. Because they're not Central. Whoa. I didn't mean to zoom in. Whoa. Man. Okay. Now my computer's being really ridiculous. That's fun. I'm going to exit out of that. Because the other one I had, it tells you the start time. But the important one was this one, where it says that, yeah, it would have ended at 8:30 p.m. Charlie Kirk's time. And so that would have created a conflict when he supposedly went on a walk with Frank Turek, because that's what, I mean, he says he went on a walk at 8.
I think that that's a fair assumption to make. Erika, and again, Frank has never said these portions about dinner. He says dinner with the family. But Erika will allege that she arrived home at 5:24. And then at 5:41, Charlie is allegedly, as she's coming up, she's already upstairs. Charlie then's allegedly going to text her and ask her what time dinner is, despite being in close quarters. Erika is then, because, it's a very small apartment, wake Gigi up by opening a fridge in the middle of the night. Charlie is then going to text Erika and ask, like I said, what time dinner is. And then Erika is going to text Charlie that dinner is ready. So this is a fast dinner. I have to fit in everything. And then you can kind of see. Even though Frank says in that clip that they went out to dinner at like 5 or 5:30, which is crazy. Yeah. We've gone through and went back to the game, followed people's tweets of when exactly Noah Sewell forced a fumble on TJ. That's what he's talking about there. And you can see that this timeline is starting to tighten up. So I wanted to share this with you because I have a strong inkling, and it is not a fact, but it is a strong inkling that Charlie was at home alone with the kids. That is why when he woke Gigi up, it would track that he went to have dinner with his kids and his quote unquote family. And that is why when he was shouting at the TV, which would in fact wake a toddler up around, when is he shouting at the challenge
8.
around 7:16, that he then screaming at the game, whenever Gigi wakes up, he then tells Frank, hold up, because the Chicago game is on, which Frank hasn't mentioned that, which I find to be interesting. Might be a talking point of why he was running late. But this is it's getting interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
Yep, I agree. And then let's see. So do you guys remember this? Because this was a text that came out after the fact, but would have been on the 8th or the 9th. I'm trying to remember the timeline. This is we now know who this is. Okay. When Charlie texted this and said, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Ugh. Then he says, Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And then whoever's on the other, this is a group text. So, but they must have taken out the initials of whoever it was. Yeah. It says, please don't invite Candace. That might feel like a feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. And then, anyway, well, we now know. Let's see. So here we go. It is Shillman, Bob Shillman, and he goes on Dinesh D'Souza, and we find out some important things regarding TPUSA, Jewish donors, and this whole scenario. So let's listen to it.
Of Turning Point. And then you stopped. Why did you stop?
Okay, just a little history. I think I met Charlie. It was probably at a David Horowitz Freedom Center conference called Restoration Weekend. And David was very, very open, always generous with introducing new talent to his audience. And I was very impressed with Charlie. And I became a donor, probably not his first donor. I forget the name of the fellow. He's no longer with us, but I became the second donor and helped the organization grow and gave him advice whenever he asked for it. So I was a member of Turning Point's the team for probably 10 years, maybe 12 years. And I supported various projects within Turning Point. I also helped Turning Point Action, which is a 501c4, gave them some significant funds to help President Trump get elected.
And that also tracks because Tyler Boyer's the head of Turning Point Action, the 501c4 political arm of TPUSA. Okay. And I mean, he's going to say some things in here. I'll touch on it as he says it. All right. This is a good interview. So I'm glad we're watching it together.
But about, maybe it was, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you, since you're talking about support, you gave support in the millions of dollars. About
Millions.
5 million, would you say?
It's between 3 and 5. I honestly, I'd have
over
to check.
over a period.
Over a 10-year, 12-year period.
Yeah.
And, but I became very concerned. This was about 2 months before his untimely death. I became very concerned with his giving a lot of credence to people like Tucker Carlson. And when there were big organizational meetings like Turning Point Action, Turning Point America or AmeriFest, right up on the big brochures next to Charlie was.
Dude, for someone that's given millions of dollars, he can't keep even he wasn't obviously paying that much attention. He can't even figure it out which one he's talking about. But I mean, that's a small thing. But
was Tucker Carlson, and of course, I've been following Tucker Carlson. I used to like watching him when he was on Fox News.
I used to like Tucker when he bent the knee and stuck to the pro-Philadelphian talking points on the most pro-Philadelphian news network, Fox Philly News. Yeah, but the moment us goyim don't do what we're told, you stop liking us. I don't know that you liked us ever, man.
I liked his attitude. He's a little sarcastic. But then for some reason, something changed, and he became, in my view, a Jew hater. I don't use the term anti-Semitic. And Tucker has his own show. And
isn't that weird? I don't use the term anti-Semitic because it doesn't really capture what I'm trying to capture. You know, it doesn't really convey what I'm trying to say. But the term I do use, which does capture exactly what I want to convey, is Jew hater. That's what Bill or Bob Shillman wants to use as the term. And that's what we all are if we're not pro-Philadelphian and we don't do what we're supposed to and give money and be good little Americans.
He platformed known Jew haters. So I talked to Charlie about this, and I was very concerned that that he was being influenced and giving a platform. Tucker Carlson, I think, gave a keynote address at one of the major Turning Point events, and I didn't get a good answer. And I told Charlie that I can't finance you.
I didn't get Charlie to do what I wanted him to do. That's the truth. It had nothing to do about a right or a wrong answer. Okay. The only right answer that Bob or Bill, and I get them all mixed up, I think it's Bill Ackman and Bob Shillman. The only right answer would have been Charlie Ben, like, yes, okay, I'll cut ties with Tucker. You'll never see him again on any TPUSA event. I'll stop talking to Tucker. Yes. Oh, and Candace too. I'll never talk to Candace ever again. Yes, of course. Keep the money coming. Yes. And no, Charlie didn't do that. Charlie was like, dude, I'm not going to stop being friends with people. I'm not going to stop talking about things that are very important to all of my followers and to all of America. Most left and right at this point, we're all waking up. And, this whole like two-party system, left versus right, it's all BS to get us fighting with each other, to get us believing that it really is like the Democrats versus the Republicans, all that fighting that those the different candidates do. It's all a show. They all are hanging out together. The night after the big Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump back in 2016 or 15, when they had that big debate and he says crooked Hillary, and it was the most watched debate and they really like dug into each other. Well, the next night they're freaking chummy, joking, smiling, friends. They're friends. And we know that they're friends because right now Donald Trump is sticking up for Bill and Hillary. It's a tragic thing. Yeah. Everyone's being caught up in this and it's just so horrible. No, Bill and Hillary didn't do anything. Nothing to see here. Give me a break. What happened to the crooked Hillary? We're going to indict her. We're going to prosecute her. We're going to put her away. We're going to drain the swamp. Nothing. Trump fooled us all. He lied to us all. I know I'm not getting off on a tangent here, but
anymore. I feel very good about my past helping Turning Point and helping you. You've used the money appropriately. You really helped President Trump get elected.
You've used the money how I've told you to use it. You've used the money in a way that I was okay with. But now that you don't, now that you aren't saying what I want you to say, the money's stopping here. The buck stops here, Charlie.
The ground game that he did in those borderline states. But going forward, I don't see. I don't like the trend of the organization going forward. So I'm going to stop financing it. Now, by the way, he didn't need it anymore. I think he was at the run rate of $60 to $80 million a year they were raising.
It was more than that. We know it was at least like 160, 180 a year. You know what's going to be really interesting, guys? When they file their tax forms for last year, I think they'll do it this year, and then the next year we'll do it for this year. And we will find out, I think we can find out, we'll see like who donated to TPUSA after Charlie's assassination. You guys want to take any guesses that all the people that pulled out when Charlie Kirk was not towing the line, What do you bet they all poured it right back in after his assassination for Erika Kirk? I bet you they did. That definitely doesn't point to or support the theory that Charlie Kirk's alive. That supports the theory and points to the fact that, yeah, no, they took him out because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to. And then they put Erika in because Erika is and will continue to do what she's supposed to. And that was like the whole point of her. And he found out at the end and he was done. And so they took him out. And they took him out quick and sloppy.
And it's not like I stabbed him in the back. We had the discussion. And
that's an interesting use of words. Nobody even insinuated that you did. Dinesh didn't even accuse you of that in any way, shape, or form. You yourself were thinking about that yourself, and you divulged that all on your own. I think you did stab him in the back. That's my opinion.
It's very common for philanthropists to give to causes they believe in. And I did give to causes I believed in, but then the organization changed.
What do you think was going on with Charlie? Charlie seemed to be pro-Israel. He made trips to Israel. I've seen him pose with the Israeli flag. He's been at the wall. He seemed to be a supporter, a sympathizer with Israel. Was it the case that, in your view, Charlie was moving in the other direction? Or was he just saying, hey, listen, Tucker's a great buddy of mine and he has his own views, I have my own views, but on that basis of friendship, I want to give him a platform? What was going on in Charlie's mind? Because I think this is something people are grappling with, and you got to see it up close.
Right. And when he began to become a strong supporter of Israel, and by the way, that was partly motivated by a donor, Bernie Marcus, who was founder of Home Depot,
right?
Who, as I recall, Charlie told me, gave him a $10 million grant to start a group, a pro-Israel group within Turning Point.
What do you bet that was Turning Point faith? What do you bet that had something to do with why Erika Kirk got her interview with Tyler Boyer? With Charlie Kirk through Tyler Boyer, why she said on that stage with that Christian lady with the pink background, Bloom or whatever, where she said it was going to be a faith component. What do you think? What do you bet it had something to do with Christians in the United States and their support for Philly? Why do you think she's partnered with Jack Hibbs, Rob McCoy, Greg Laurie, another Calvary Chapel pastor that, like, in effect runs the Bible 365 app? I forget his name. It starts with an S. I have it written down. But what do you bet? That's what it is. That's what I think.
And when I saw that happening, I spoke to Charlie at an event that I was attending with him. And I said, this is a mistake, Charlie. Even though I'm very pro-Israel, of course, I'm known to be a Zionist. I told him it was a mistake for him to take positions outside of the main core of what Turning Point is all about. Turning Point is about free enterprise, capitalism, the literal interpretation of the Constitution, and freedom of speech. And I said, as soon as you start being involved in other peripheral causes, although they may be good, in my view, it's a good one, you shouldn't do it.
You know how that's a lie? That's a lie. Okay. He says in his own words, he is okay. He's pro Philly through and through. He gave Charlie money, and he was willing to continue to give Charlie money as long as he played the pro Philly handbook. Okay. But if you're telling Charlie, don't take money from people that are going to get you from deviating from your main focus, your initial cause, but then you took money out because he didn't stick to the pro-Philly playbook. You're contradicting yourself there, bud. You're contradicting yourself. So either you did or you didn't. You clearly gave him money as long as he played ball. But the moment he stopped playing ball, you take out the money. But you're saying, like, no, you warned him against taking money from people, just like you to do things just like this. Okay, dude.
Shouldn't do it. So even though he was doing something that I would normally approve of outside of Turning Point, I suggested he not do it. In the same way, when he became somewhat, not he, but he was promoting people who are anti-Israel or anti-Zionist or Jew haters, I told him you shouldn't do it.
It seems like what you were saying to Charlie, in effect, was
stick to your knitting
and stick to America first. You don't go outside of the American agenda.
Because as soon as you start, and I think what happened, he went to college campuses, and this was after October 7th, 2023. And there were a lot of questions by the students, which I don't know if they were prepared ahead of time, but they were poking him about Israel. Why are you so, interested in Israel? It's not America.
He just accused Charlie of preparing some of the questioners ahead of time. He just said, and I don't know if those questioners were prepared ahead of time. Well, who would have prepared him ahead of time? Like the crowd? No, that would have been TPUSA. Who's the head of TPUSA? Charlie. Charlie would have known. Okay. He's saying that, and I don't know if these students who came up there and asked questions about Philly were prepared ahead of time by TPUSA. What's interesting is it's so ironic that the thing in which he criticized Charlie for not doing, right, for not staying America first, from deviating from that by accepting money from pro-Philadelphians, the thing that got him killed was being America first. I mean, you can't just make this up. Like, that's just so insane that he doesn't even notice that's what he's talking about and what happened. That by saying that, like, Philly needs to stay out of our politics, of our country. Stop telling us what we can and can't say. Freedom of speech, freedom to criticize whoever I want. And the fact that these donors took out money because he was criticizing a foreign country who was their country that their number one allegiance is to, not America. Because it's not American to say, like, oh, you're using your freedom of speech, that darn thing, the Constitution, you don't get my money now. Charlie was advocating for America first. We don't need to get involved in Iran. We should not be sending all of this military equipment to Philly. We should not be supporting them in Gaza. Bibi should not be coming over here 7 times in 1 year telling our politicians what to do. They shouldn't be giving that much money to our political parties and political candidates. This is the most America first talking point I can think of right now. There's nothing bigger right now happening around the world that, like, puts this in a juxtaposition, like, than this war with Iran and Philly, and what's really best for us. Crude oil going through the roof. All goods are going to go through the roof. Our checkbook, our income, our paycheck is going to dwindle so fast. Everything is based on diesel prices because that's what they use to ship everything. It's not just at the pump you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it with every piece of produce, every piece of, clothing. Everything gets shipped in. Everything gets, shipped over or on a train, on a semi. Nothing is local. This affects everything. this is going to be some sort of major economic crisis, and it's not ending anytime soon. How Charlie knew for many reasons that getting involved in a foreign war once again would drastically hurt the everyday American in so many ways. Sending our young men and women to fight in a foreign country's war again in the Middle East. Not America first. This is the most America first thing there is right now. That's another thing Charlie died for. He died for being America first. Telling Philly, take a hike. And all these people acting like they're America first, they're not. Trump isn't even America first anymore. Probably never was. Him and all of his chummy buddies now, they're all the never Trumpers. It's so disgusting.
And it's not pro-American. So I think that helped change his mind or his direction. And he never said anything, that would indicate that he was a Jew hater or an anti-Semite. But
well, why don't you go talk to, Josh Hammer and Seth Dillon and Ben Shapiro and everyone else that's calling Tucker and Megyn and Candace Jew haters and anti-Semites, when they're literally saying the exact same thing Charlie was saying. And we saw it. We saw the episode where Megyn came on. A lot of people were calling Charlie an anti-Semite. They were calling Charlie and Megyn, and now Pierce Morgan, a Jew hater.
Certainly by keeping Candace Owens on their website. And you can still, I don't know if you can still find her there, but she was there. Probably not, given the relationship with now. But she was there when I was involved, and I said, I don't like, I thought she was out. She was still there. You'd have to find it. But certainly Tucker Carlson was being promoted, and I think that's what happened. It was in reaction to all the questions he was getting by the students.
Oh, I need to say something to someone that's here in the audience. Hey, where are you? Brave New Words. Hey, how you doing? I got your email. Mystic is amazing, and she screenshotted that. Like, I did misread your text, but I got it right away. So it didn't go long for me to realize that you were actually supporting what I did on the stream that had Danks and Kelly and Bays, asking and pointing out the questions and the hypocrisy and the lies about the Charlie Kirk's alive theory. And I got you. Thank you for your support. And I just want to let you know, I didn't go long thinking that I misunderstood your last chat yesterday. Mystic caught it and she sent it to me, and then I got your email. So you're good. Thank you for that.
College campuses.
So I think what you're saying here, and to me, this is not an unfamiliar story. When I was at the American Enterprise Institute, we had free market economists, and we would get sometimes funding from some big business, which supported free market capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, when it came, for example, to a subsidy to that business, they would want the subsidy. And then the free market economists would revolt and say, we're being bought off. And so the head of AEI of the American Enterprise Institute was caught between the scholars over here and the donors over. So to me, this is like, this happens.
This happens.
Right? And I think what you're describing is, here's Charlie, and he wanted, did he take the money from Bernie Marcus? Did he take the 10 million?
Yes.
He did. Okay.
Yes.
So he's committed over here.
Right.
And at the same time, the students are kind of over here. So when Charlie said, I'm being pressured by the donors, but really what
Dinesh needs to knock it off. Stop saying really what he meant. Look at Bob Shillman's freaking face. Bro, oh my goodness. You guys, it would take every Christian bone in my body not to do something if I saw these people in public. He's going to lie. He's going to lie right here and say that he didn't pressure Charlie at all. Okay. let's walk this out. He's giving money. He's okay to keep giving money as long as Charlie toes the line. Charlie's not towing the line. He has a talk with Charlie. Charlie doesn't answer him sufficiently. And he says, then I'm pulling my money. How is that not pressure? That is literally the definition of pressure. Do what I'm saying or else. Or else what? You're going to hurt me? No, I'm going to take all my money and I'm going to go away. That's pressure. It's not the same as like a physical threat of violence kind of pressure, but it's pressure because it's a nonprofit and their existence is tied to donors and people giving money to them. And yes, he had a lot of others at that point, but the majority of the donors were all Philadelphians. And it's like a domino, right? All of these pro-Philadelphians all talk. They're all talking at the Hamptons, at Aspen. They're all talking on their yachts and in their mansions. They're all talking on their private jets and their, phone calls with one another. Yeah, I just took out my money. He's not playing ball. All right, I'm going to take out my money too. If enough of us take out our money, he'll play ball. Nope, he didn't. Well, we'll send in the wife, activate her. We got to activate her. We got the code word, pineapple. She's activated. Doesn't work. The night before the 10th, she's questioning him. She's telling him, you just got to take the money. You just got to do what they're asking you to do. And he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm done. And I'm leaving you. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to be free, like Tucker, like Candace, like Megan. Okay, that's fine, honey. She goes in the other room and calls everyone. We got to have Plan Annex in motion. Ready? Go. And then the wheels are turning. And the rest is history on the 10th. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously not exactly like that, but.
No, I wasn't pressured by it. I never tried to pressure him. I just said this is not consistent with the mission of Turning Point. That's what I said.
You think Bob Shillman should be telling the CEO of Turning Point what the mission of Turning Point is? Or should Charlie be the one that's deciding what the mission of Turning Point is? And yeah, maybe the mission evolved over time, but here's the thing. Politics aren't fixed. The government is ever changing, ever evolving. Geopolitical issues are evolving and changing. New intel and information about Philly and their involvement in America is changing. The Einstein files changes things. The war in Gaza changes things. So Charlie's allowed to change his position over time. That doesn't mean he's not sticking to the mission statement. And Shillman is in no place to tell Charlie what the mission statement is. Charlie would be. Goodness gracious, these guys, man. I just can't with them.
You should stick to the mission of Turning Point and
stick to the script, Charlie. You stick to what we're telling you to say. You stick off of the talking points we're telling you to avoid. Here's your answers. This is what you say when a kid asks you, or when you're in public, this is what you say. You got me? You know what's going to happen if you don't stick to the script, Charlie. You don't want that to happen, do you? You know your wife works with us, right? You found that out, didn't you? She's one of us.
Although you may get less tweets or less people attending your conference.
Yeah, because that's what you care about. Charlie didn't care about that. Charlie cared about freedom. He cared about the country. He cared about the future of the country, freedom of speech, the Constitution, our rights, our faith.
This is what you should be doing.
Because this is what you set out to do.
That's what he set out to do, and that's what I funded.
And obviously, I think part of what you're saying as well is that a donor has every right to give money to a cause that you believe in.
Goodness, Dinesh, can you be the interviewer and not the interviewee for 1 second? You keep telling Shillman what he means. So what you're saying is, so what I think Charlie was doing is, and what you're telling, Dinesh, knock it off. Shillman, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And if the organization or the individual marches off in a different
You
direction,
stop giving the money.
why on earth would you want to? There's no like entitlement to the money.
Right.
It's
And there's no intentional, I didn't try to get the money back that I had already
right.
given
Talk
her.
about they were going to name a building after you.
Yes, there was
The Shillman Center.
the Shillman Freedom Center.
And
right?
what did you tell them?
I told them, and I had made most of the payments that I promised to do was in stages based on where the building was and the purchase of the building and everything. And I said, I'm not going to make the last payment, but you can name the building. The agreement was supposed to be named after the Shillman Foundation. Said you can name the building anything you want, except Shillman.
Don't use your name.
Don't use my name.
Look at his face. Oh my gosh, dude. These people, okay, are so evil. And I don't mean Philadelphians, okay? I mean the type of people with money and power, okay, that want to control people. I gave you money. You could name it after me as long as you're doing what I tell you to do. But the moment you don't, the money's gone. And the one thing you can't do is you can't name it after me. I'm not going to have my name on this anti-Philadelphian organization, this Jew hater building.
Don't use my name. Right.
And what was Charlie's reaction when you told him that?
They said they'd have to think about it, and they never got back to me.
I wonder who they were. They were talking about Charlie individually. And then Shillman says they. Wonder who they were.
And they never distanced themselves from Tucker in any way. And
No.
I think he was influenced by the number of followers that he gets with Tucker there. Tucker.
So disgusting. Oh my gosh. These kind of people, they have no soul. They are attacking Charlie. Oh, I think he was influenced by the numbers, the likes, the views. How many people showed up to see Tucker because it was so like controversial. People just want to see, the Hunger Games, the Coliseum. People are so simple. They just want to see. Charlie just cared about money and numbers. Yep. Because everything he was saying and doing at the end of his career was super popular. Okay. Or was it the most unpopular thing he could do? And he was receiving so much backlash, so much pressure, and so much hate that's really courage. Courage for his faith and courage for America. Has nothing to do with numbers. In fact, he was willing to do what he knew in his heart was right, even if it meant losing all of the donors, all of the support, all of the money, and whatever followers were following him only because he was going to be pro-Philadelphian. That sounds like the complete opposite of what Shillman's talking about.
There's an influencer who has a large audience, unfortunately.
It is something that people have grappled with, right? What caused Tucker to change?
Money.
And you're saying it's money.
Money.
The reason I've been myself flabbergasted by it is people do change their mind, right? Whitaker Chambers used to be a communist and then he became an anti-communist.
Okay. they're done talking about Charlie. I want to hear this. I didn't hear this part. Look at Shillman. God, he's so smug. He's so smug. Everything I just said about Charlie applies to Tucker, Candace, and now Megan. It is widely unpopular. It's popular among some of us, but there's a lot of people still on the pro TPUSA, pro Philly, pro Trump, pro Erika Kirk camp. You cannot say in any way with a straight face and being honest that Charlie and Tucker and Candace and Megan and now Pierce Morgan, that they took this stance opposing Philly because of money. That's always their attack. You know why? Because that's their God. That's always what's on the top of their mind. Because to them, that's what motivates every decision that they make. Every choice that confronts them in their life, they decide whether this is going to bring them more money or less money. If it brings them more, then they do it. If it brings them less, then they don't. And that's why it's their first attack on Candace, on Tucker, on Charlie, on Megan, because it's their God. Money is their God. And that's what's important to them. And that's why they point it out every single time.
Yes, but he wrote a 600-page book, Witness, explaining how he shifted, what caused him to change his mind. Notice that Tucker has never done this.
No.
He's never given any kind of account. And yet suddenly you have this sort of new Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Dinesh, I'm done listening to you tonight. All you have to do is watch all of Tucker's YouTube channel videos over the last year or even two. Probably, I haven't gone back and watched like from 2023 and on, like after October 7th, 2023. We know that was the change for Candace and Tucker. Candace and Charlie. I really noticed the change for Tucker last summer when he did the Ted Cruz interview. But I haven't gone back and looked if he had already started to change his opinion on Philly before then. It's disgusting that Dinesh and Shillman say that Tucker's never explained why he's shifted on this stance, not supporting Philly. Literally every video that I watch of Tucker, he lays it out every single time. He does that so all the haters can't clip him and say that and take him out of context. And it's so that he can explain himself if there's new viewers. We know that he is not anti-individual Philadelphian, like the individual person. He's changed on the government of Philly. That is the critical defining aspect of this. It's the same thing with Candace and Megan and Charlie. All of them changed on their support for the country of Philly. That's it. And they've explained it time and time again. And it's because when you look over history, their influence in our country has always been not good. Their control over our politicians, our government, our country, getting us into almost every war in the Middle East. It's evil. And people are done. And thank God, Charlie, Candace, Megan and Tucker all spoke about that. And the fact that Erika has done the opposite, I think is pretty telling as to one of the main reasons why Charlie was taken out. The fact that they turned back to Charlie what TPUSA was before Charlie turned. And now they're even, full head, steam full ahead, pro Philly everything, pro Trump everything. It's hard to deny that had like everything to do with taking him out. All right, let's see. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this because hopefully it doesn't mess up the stream. On Zach Costello's channel today, he wanted to play this, but Dave Rubin blocked him, so he couldn't do it. So I'm going to do it for Zach because I think Zach Costello is a stand-up guy. Well, you guys know that those in power over history have always claimed like this war is the war to end all wars. It never is. It never is. There's no such thing. War can't be the thing to end wars. It just can't. Peace has to be the thing to end all wars. Peace, not war. Well, let's hear what Dave Rubin's got to say about this, okay? The war to end all war. Let me turn it up.
I think the way you can look at this, I haven't heard anyone else say this, but this seems to me to be the war to end all wars. I know that that's like bumper stickery and whatever, but it's the war to say no more of this, no more state-sponsored jihadism all over the place. And once that happens, once these countries calm down and things start turning, and we know the Gulf states are thriving because they've put aside some of this jihadist lunacy, people will start being more successful, and more successful, flourishing people are less inclined to become crazy radicals. And that's not what the people of Iran want. It is not what they had when they had the Shah of Iran. I think the way you can look at this, I haven't heard anyone else say this, but this seems to me to be the war to end all wars.
I haven't heard anyone else say this. Give me a break, dude. Have you really not heard anyone else say this? There's a couple other things I want to show you guys on X. This is pretty important, okay? I'm beginning to believe that, Trump had to be elected during these 4 years, okay? If the left versus right is all a game, it's all fake, and there really is just one uniparty that is in the shadows running both parties. They needed Trump. Well, they needed Biden for that 4 years to do what they did. Okay. And now they needed Trump during this time to do what they're doing right now. They're claiming this is Armageddon. They're claiming that this is a holy war. They're doing it in Philly. And they're saying that they're going to rebuild the third temple. And all the Calvary Chapel pastors are doing it and saying that this is revelation happening before our eyes. That this war is fulfilling prophecy, ushering in the second coming of Christ. Major rabbis around the world are all saying Donald Trump is the anointed one that leads the way for the Jewish Mashiach. And they list all these things that are prophesied in the Old Testament about this anointed one. One of the things is piercing of the ear. Let's listen to them, and then I'll give you my little 2 cents on that.
787.
Let me turn it up.
It made no sense that this incredible honor of participating with the Jewish Messiah in the building of the Holy Temple and the establishment of God's kingdom on earth should be given to someone who is undeserving, to someone who represented the ugly side of America, which has been engaged in undermining the security and safety of the Jews who have returned to their ancestral homeland since day one, when the state was established in 1948. President Donald Trump was the first American president who stood up in defiance to the entrenched and endemic anti-Israel attitude of all previous U.S. administrations towards our presence in the Holy Land, an attitude that was in place for the past 70 years. Only he or somebody like him would be the person who deserves this great honor of representing Western society and fulfilling the prophecy uttered to our matriarch Rebecca, the elder one will serve the younger one. Apparently, Western society led by the United States had to go through further degradation and humiliation under the lowly and weak Biden administration before goodness could emerge from the ashes of the failed American dream. But it seems obvious to me that on Shabbat, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania, and in front of the eyes of the entire world, God's voice was heard loud and clear to anyone whose ears were open, and he chose the second non-Jewish Messiah, not to redeem the world. That job is reserved for the Jewish Messiah, who is a direct descendant of King David and his son Solomon. But like the first non-Jewish Messiah, Cyrus, who was chosen to assist the Jews in reestablishing themselves in the land of Israel after their 70-year exile in Babylon, the current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah.
I'm trying to cut down on his S's and how loud they are. It's hurting my ears. I apologize. I'm trying to get the volume just right.
President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027, 1,167 days from today. Thus, the redemption will surely occur during Donald Trump's tenure. It made no sense.
So I think that's interesting. That's pretty interesting that they're saying that it has to happen by this certain date and that it only could happen at this time while Trump is the anointed one and while he's in office. No accident. Ridiculous. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple things I wanted to show you guys with this video. Because I just can't, you guys. I've said this before. I'm not trying to attack anybody. Okay. I'm not. I don't want to make my channel out to be that. But I just can't sit by as so many people are claiming this narrative that Charlie Kirk was in on it. Charlie Kirk is alive. TPUSA and Erika Kirk are little angels and no one did anything wrong. And the reason why everything looks suspicious is because Charlie's alive. And they all know each other. They're all talking to each other. It's just, man, it's just evil, in my opinion. Let's go to this first one.
Solidifies my position again. And it very much, though, needs to be seen in conjunction with the story that I did last week about the rifle, right? And how it was miraculously discovered, right? Miraculously discovered after the...
Literally everything Jesse claims as like proof of his theory, and he can't help himself but just talk about himself in the third person, say how smart he is, how great he is. No one else has thought about this but him. Yeah, maybe because it's stupid and it's ridiculous. And the other people that are doing it are the same, okay? And you guys are all friends. You're all communicating with one another. And it's just disgusting that, you know, and the other thing, he wants TPUSA to reach out to him because he wants to be on the big stage. That's what he says. Let me go to... For this one, it's at 20. There's a lot here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Let me just get to where.
My opinion, again, volunteering myself for service at any
right here.
big guy. What does he care about? Retribution. Okay? Retribution. At the end of the day, you frame it in a way where it's also going to help the United States, which it would, in my opinion. Again, volunteering myself for service at any point to you guys. No one else figured this out. I'm the only one that figured it out, dude.
He's talking about TPUSA. He's volunteering himself for service to Erika Kirk and TPUSA. He's the only one that figured it out. He's the only one that's smart enough.
I'm the only one that figured it out. I laid it out in plain English. Still no one else could figure it out, dude. It's really unbelievable. If I'm right. I will never tell a soul. Take it all down, especially now that my original purpose of doing this seems to have not worked. Seems to have not worked. I just assumed if I put this out there that it would get in front of the right people. It's I don't have that much reach, but I haven't.
600,000 followers is pretty big reach. His original purpose for doing this, you guys, he stated it in his Manufactured Martyred series. I've watched every video. I'm going back through again, watching and writing timestamps of different things to bring to you guys because most people can't sit through the whole thing. All right. And one of, certain people's attacks on me and other people is that, oh, you haven't even watched it. Or if you actually sat down and watched the whole thing, you too would believe, you would come to the light. You would see the obvious. No, opposite. His original reason he said for doing this is to defend Erika Kirk and TPUSA and everyone there. And to get Candace and Barron and everyone else who's investigating them and bringing all this heat on Erika and TPUSA to get them to stop. That's his whole purpose in this. And because he wants a job. He wants to work for them. He wants them to call him up to the big leagues. That's the other reason.
I've reached to make sure certain people see it. And it's oh, they're still doing this, huh? All right. They're still pushing forward with this. I literally laid this all out. Why you shouldn't do this because you are looking at the wrong movie, but I just want in the game, dude. I just want in the game. I clocked this thing on my own, just watching all of the people and being able to clock it. I'm really fucking good at this. I am really good at this. Consider it an open invitation. If you watched Barron's live stream last night, I sat on that, and still would have never talked about it if I didn't get permission, which I did. I'm just saying, I can be a help to you guys. I just want in the big game, the biggest game. Anyway, but now we're going to look at the Wolves, and
he just wants in the biggest game. That motivation isn't evil at all. At all. Give me a break, dude. All right, now let's look at this. Let me go here. Where are we at? I think I did that one and it didn't actually say. So 11.
I think I watched one.
Which one?
Oh, let me back up. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
oh, wow.
I heard you talk about it all.
Hold on.
All of these people are colluding because they murdered Charlie with some, I don't really understand the whole thing, or I'm right, which aligns with everything. So again, she's her and I are, I'm not disagreeing with her, except on the one thing. So which do you think is more likely, Gabrielle? You have to say it right now. Right now.
I honestly don't know. I can't.
Let's continue then. How much?
So his wife doesn't even believe him, number one, in his theory. Okay. I can come to my own conclusions as to that means something. No, you don't have to agree with your spouse on everything, but on big things, you guys should be in agreement.
How much of my series have you watched? Oh, wow.
I mean,
oh, wow.
I heard you talk about it all day, every day for weeks on end.
How many episodes have you watched
Of yours, like completely?
Yeah.
Like any episodes?
Of the Charlie,
Oh.
of the manufactured
watched-
martyr. How many of the full episodes have you watched?
I think I watched one.
Which one? Okay, summarize it. Just summarize. I said, just summarize something that was in it, dude.
It's whatever one you sent to me.
Just name one thing that was in it.
The makeup artist guy.
So you watched part 2.
I guess.
So you watched the part where we went through all the like the makeup and then the tubes, which are visible and all.
You want to know what's disgusting? Okay. He has access to people like Blake. Blake has the high def photo of this tube that he's talking about where it's hanging out of Charlie's shirt right before they put him in the SUV. There's no tube. It's his necklace. And you can tell it's his necklace in a clear photo. I know. Blake has. Okay. So he knows. He knows it's not a tube. And I can't show it on here, but if you guys go on to X, Blake posted a brand new video that he has from the assassination. We haven't seen it before. And it proves without a shadow of a doubt, he didn't have anything else underneath his shirt that day. It's after he falls to the ground when Dan Flood shoves him to the ground. He falls on the ground. And I'll just warn you, this video is graphic. You can see it's not a squib. He's bleeding from the neck. It's bad. Okay. He falls. He goes out of the view of the camera. But then you see all of them pick him up. But when they pick him up, his shirt gets pulled all the way up. You can see all of his stomach and all of his back. There is no tube. There's nothing underneath there anymore. Okay. And you see that actually there was a lot of blood. So his other claim that there wasn't any blood and they can't see the blood. Okay. Well, if someone was carrying him and they had a compress on the neck while everyone else is carrying him, but you can see there's blood all over him, all over their arms. So I recommend you guys going over to X. It's gory, but it will open your eyes as to two things. Sadly, Charlie Kirk is dead. He was assassinated that day, not by a bullet, by something else. And there was nothing under his shirt in the form of a tube and some sort of Hollywood device that was that Jesse and all these other people claim in these photos before. They're pointing to something on his back like, see, there it is. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. So the two things I think it could be that killed Charlie that day, and I'm unsure which one it is, okay? And it's because of the movement of the shirt and when they do a breakdown of the video of where the energy starts from and how, like, which part moves the most, it's either the exploding mic or somehow they were able to put some sort of explosive on the necklace. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But it's one of those two things. And it's because we see that the necklace moves a lot. A lot of energy gets directed at the necklace, so much that the necklace breaks. The necklace flies over his head. And if something was on the back of the St. Michael pendant, about the size of the thing, when we see the shirt lift up and hit his neck, and then we don't see what hits his neck, but then we see the wound. So my belief, it's something in the mic or something that they did to the necklace. That's where I'm at. And if you go look at that video, you'll see he didn't fake his death. And there was no Hollywood stuff like Jordan Henshaw would have you believe under his shirt. All right, let me go to the next timestamp, which we did that. So let's go to 16.
Eric, who in the episode that Gabrielle watched is one of the people doing 100% hand signals. 100%, my opinion, is doing hand signals that everyone could see. Him, the bodyguard right behind Charlie, the guy in the brown shirt who is giving countdowns 5 minutes.
So once again, so he just made this video. This just was released today. Jesse knows when he's making this video, he's lying about this. Blake already came out with his footage on X debunking the Wolves in Finance video. Rick Cutler is not giving hand signals in front of Charlie. The timing is off. The timing from when he goes 5-4 to the time of the Big Bang is 9 minutes and some seconds. It's not 5 minutes. It's not 4 minutes. They're not hand signals. Not to mention, he's quoting someone that clearly lied about the glasses. We know that the glasses were normal glasses that Rick Cutler was wearing that day, and that Wolves in Finance, most likely, or someone else gave them to him, doctored the photo of those glasses on Rick Cutler. Someone did, because if you go look at many other photos, which Blake showed me, he has a lot of photos from that day, high quality photos. Those glasses are normal glasses. They're not those big, DARPA glasses. Okay. He didn't have a palm pistol in his hand. That's not a palm pistol in his pocket. It's a can of dip or Zin or whatever. Jesse's claiming supposed facts and evidence from the Wolves video when Wolves clearly lied about so many things. And he's wrong about the hand signals. And Jesse's using that as part of his evidence as to that they were telling Charlie, hey, we're doing it. It's coming up. Get ready. You got to get ready. You're going to fake it now. No.
Minutes, guys. 5 minutes to launch time. 4. We got 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes. Right in front of Charlie's eye line. Literally. Directly in front of Charlie. We got 4. We got 4. The dude over there who's in the red shirt or in the red hat that no one talks about, who's leaning on the thing. He's the one that Charlie's looking at. That guy does a sign. Charlie does a sign. They all react to the sign. Then when Charlie gets shot, the guy just sits there like this. He's all.
Charlie doesn't do a sign. He had itched his nose like 10 times in a certain span. It was hot that day. He was sweating.
Seen this 1,000 times. Somebody just gets shot or something. I don't care. I don't care. I just don't care.
The same things that he's saying is proof that they were all in on this fake assassination is actually proof that they were all in on the actual assassination. It is less of a conspiracy to believe that he was assassinated by those around him when you take all of the other facts about Charlie's life before and what TPUSA and Erika has done after, with the Iran war, with Philly, the donors, the hate, his stance with Tucker and Candace. All of that plays into this. Everything points more to the fact that they took him out because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. And then they put Erika in. And now Erika's the golden child who's going to be president, who now is appointed to this Academy for the Air Force board. Going to be president someday. Better than Charlie, smarter than Charlie. She's perfect. Charlie's the one that said he wanted her to be head of TPUSA. They then bring in Ben Shapiro. He gives money. He gets to speak at AmFest. They don't have Candace on. All the things Charlie wanted to do, they didn't do. Everything Charlie didn't want to do, now they're doing. It couldn't be more clear as to the motive, the reasons, and who's involved. And anyone that is using Jesse and his series and his evidence as proof of anything and taking his side and spouting the Charlie Kirk narrative, the Charlie Kirk is alive theory. Dishonest people, not good people. That's it. That's it. Bottom line.
Anywho, Gabrielle, what do you have to say about it? Oh, nothing, because you haven't watched my whole series?
Sorry.
Yeah. You know what? My wife does watch this series. Everyone. She's here now. Yep. I don't lie. I don't make things up. I don't do things that are dishonest. I don't make material that's clickbaity or, for clicks, likes, views. I do something I believe in. I say the things I say because I truly believe in them. I believe that this time in our country, in history, this time matters for Americans and for Christians. Yeah. I'll think about something else I was going to bring up. I know that there's some people watching. Hey, you know who you are. How's it going? How you doing? All right. That's enough. Let's see. We got Mystic. Thank you for the super sticker. And again, thank you for the super sticker. All right. Well, if anyone has anything they would like. Hi, Dulcinea. Yes, I got your emails. Let's see. If anyone has anything they'd like to say, that Greg Laurie man is a scheming. Yeah, Alka. Yeah, he is. Look into the Romanian orphanage and the guy that he left in charge for many, many years. Greg Laurie was sending him $17,000 a month into a private personal fund for him while he racked up more victims. And it was widely known within the Christian, community of churches that were affiliated with this orphanage that this guy, that Greg Laurie left in charge, was doing what he was doing. So much pressure was put on Greg Laurie to do an independent investigation because they wanted this guy removed. Greg Laurie's like, okay, we'll do the investigation. The investigation came with their findings. Greg Laurie says, we'll leave him. We'll leave him another 4 to 5 years to rack up his victim count. Erika Kirk's in relationship with that guy. She goes to his church for the first Make Heaven Crowded event. Okay. Rob McCoy has similar things in his history. Yep. She's pretty coy with him. Yeah. They're not all coincidences. And then all the issues with those military officers, with her, Romanian Angels nonprofit, everything that was going on at the base over there. Not good. And then we hear what Candace came out tonight about the connection with the Corcoran. I think it's Corcoran Group, the real estate group that Erika worked for. And now I'm beginning to think about that guy, William Bass on X, that said there was a connection between Einstein and Erika and TPUSA. And then someone that some of us all watch, I reached out to and I asked, and they said, no, nothing to see here. No, nothing to see here. Interesting. If I find out that there is something to see here, I will report on it. Hopefully, Candace keeps digging on this and actually shows the connections and the ties. So, yep. Looks like we got another super chat that just popped in. Apocalypse Now. Thank you for keeping it real. Thank you, Apocalypse. Always. Please, if you guys can, I didn't say it in the beginning, can you guys please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe? It's how you can help this channel. It's the best way to support it. And then after we all sign off, and the video is, not live anymore, if you don't mind hopping over there and just writing a quick comment like, hey, great show, Matt, amazing show, great show, keep it up, great, just like 2 words. It just helps the video. I don't know what's going on. Like, we had been moving up in subscriber count, like just consistently every day, each week. Videos were doing well. And then all of a sudden it's just like fizzled out. And I don't know. I mean, I've looked it up and they said, from the 7,000 to 10,000 subscriber period, something happens with YouTube. It doesn't push your stuff as much and it slows down. I don't know, but it would help if you guys throw a comment in there and just be like, hey, great show, another great show, keep it up. Nothing big, just 2 words. All right. If there's nothing else, let me see. Yeah, she's a blonde, Ghislaine. Yeah. Shadow band. Yep. Yes, you got it. Yeah, Orwell tubed. Yeah. Thank you guys. All right. I think that's it. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. I love you guys. You guys are the best community on the internet. And have a good night. Get some sleep. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. God bless. Bye.